Summer. It's finally here. And what better time than this to go to the lake, go skinny dipping, and finally have an excuse to show everybody your tiny ass dick. But you've probably already done that like a million times, so you need a change of scenery. So you think to yourself, oh, I'm gonna go traveling. Ooh, traveling, that sounds nice. Where are you gonna go? Well, that might sound nice. Today I'm gonna show you what's wrong with it. So you finally got some time off work, maybe 2 or 3 weeks, whatever, and your boss really likes you. Maybe that's why he gave you the time off. Maybe he wants to get into your pants. That's why he's giving you this vacation. And you realize, oh shit, this place where I live, it sucks. Like there's nothing to do. So you're gonna go some other fucking place. Oh fuck, I don't actually know anything about the world. Like I should maybe get some evidence before I make my fucking opinions that I already have. And the question is, well, what the fuck? What do I do? Huh? Do I just stay in my apartment for 3 weeks, become a couch potato? No, well, you want to experience the world, right? You want to have things to tell other people. So many things we do, all the traveling, it's just there so we have stories to tell. And then you have to fucking find a place and decide how to get there. How does that work? Like, yeah, you probably already have like a list of places you would like to see in your life once. Maybe like a Grand Canyon or the Vatican, I don't fucking know. Whatever you're into, right? But half the places you could visit in the world, they aren't safe anyway. There's so many places I would like to go to that I just won't, because I think I'm going to die if I go there. Like someone's going to come up and rob me, or even worse, stab me to death. And why? Oh, because they want a suit that doesn't even fit them. So actually traveling somewhere, it involves a fuckload of planning. Yeah, like first, how do you get there, right? Do you do a road trip? Do you take a plane, a train, a bus? All of these options suck if you really think about it. Like, have you ever been to an airport? It's crowded with people. Planes are always late. The seats are uncomfortable. Yeah, it's fast, but bro, on an airplane, it's like a fucking can of sardines. You're all packed in together. Probably the person next to you has some fucking BO. Worst case scenario, you took an airplane, you've got all your shit with you because you only have like 5 things, and then baggage, they lose your fucking luggage. And then you're like in some different country, you don't speak the language, you only have X amount of money, and then you don't have anything. I've heard like terrible stories of people losing their stuff in a different country. What do you do, man?
What do I do?
At the end of the day, you just become like this Tom Hanks character from this airport movie Terminal, where he gets stuck in the airport and he can't leave, and he doesn't speak to anybody, and he has to like learn the language while he's stuck there to communicate somehow. And if you're as smart as him, you come up with some scheme to make money in the other country. Like that's the worst case scenario. That's what can happen to you actually. Like that movie is based on a true fucking story. Or you could take a bus. That takes like forever. Like that's the slowest method of transportation ever. Because at least here in Germany, there's actually rules for bus drivers. Like there's mandated times they have to stop. And so like if you take your car at least, you can just be like, okay, no, I'm gonna piss in a bottle and drive for 12 hours straight. It's not a good idea, but you can do it if you're really in a rush to get somewhere. But the bus, is gonna stop every 2 to 3 hours, maybe 4 if you're really lucky. And then the person next to you there also probably stinks like ass. And once you've made it to wherever you want to go, well, you're still a human, right? You have to sleep. Oh fuck, where am I going to stay? So hotels, they're really expensive. Unless you go for some shitty hotel, probably your stuff's going to be stolen while you're out in the city. So that's not a good idea. And hostel is the even cheaper alternative to that. And in a hostel, fucking hostel. Like you share the room with other people on vacation. I don't even share my own room at home with anybody. Why would I share a room with strangers in some other city? I don't care if it's just $10 a night, it's not worth it. Did you ever share a room with somebody who snores? It's a nightmare, you can't fall asleep. Like some friend comes over because he's from visiting, traveling from some other city, and he's crashing at your place. And if you're really unlucky, that friend goes to bed early and just snores the fuck out of you. Now, I don't like sharing my room with other people because, I like my privacy. But I also know I'm snoring. So if I go to a hostel, I'm going to keep everybody else up. And they're going to be pissed at me. And if you're one of those people, that doesn't just want to see the nature, because if you want to do that, you can just be like real spontaneous about it, right? Like, oh, let's just go up this mountain here, and oh, these woods look nice, let's just go however. But if you're one of those sightseeing kind of people, you gotta actually plan the whole fucking trip. Like, oh, if you go to Paris, I don't know, let's say, oh, okay, Monday we go to Eiffel Tower, and then Tuesday we go to the Louvre, and you gotta buy tickets to these things beforehand, and then you have like this particular time that you can go. Like one time I went to the fucking Vatican, the line was fucking massively long. Do you know how many people pilgrim to the fucking Vatican? It's a mess. For something that's such a holy site, why is it so crowded with people? All these fucking tourist attractions, you can't even enjoy them properly because everyone is just there. It's like a penguin farm. And of course, if you buy tickets for these different tourist attractions, they know they are tourist attractions, okay? They know people will just inherently want to go see them. So they charge the fuck out of you. Tickets are so expensive, any place. Ever been to the Vatican or the Eiffel Tower? That shit is expensive. Yeah, exactly. Talking about expensive, here's another thing. Most people can't even afford to travel, right? If you have some minimum wage job, working 40 hours a week, you gotta save like 2-3 years to have like one nice 1 week trip. I mean, yeah, you can do like this backpacking stuff, or like this Interrail, that's something I've heard about. But I want to be able to actually enjoy myself and relax. I don't want to have to worry about, okay, how do I eat the next week? Okay, I want to, if I want to travel, I don't want to live worse than I am back home. I might as well be at home and actually enjoy my time off. And something you might see pretty often when you're doing you go to the touristy attractions, and then there's like these massive groups of people with a fucking tour guide. You can't just look at the stuff and be like, oh yeah, that looks nice. No, you need some bitch ass person to come in and be like, so, and this brick was laid in 1854, and then this tree here, it symbolizes, I don't know, the death of the architect's daughter, that's why it was planted here. Who wants to deal with that? The only times when I went on a guided tour of some place was in school, yeah? And it was the most boring thing ever. Because when you're in a group, you can't just do your own thing, you have to do the group thing, right? So, and you got a tour guide, explaining things, right? And then everyone's just thinking, oh, can we just move on with this shit? It's so boring. And then there's always this one person that's like, actually, I have a question. What about this and that? And they ask the most stupid question ever. Like, not even a good question. These are like the most boring people ever. Go on guided tours of things. And those are the ones that actually enjoy this shit, and then they want to talk to you. They want to talk to you on the tour and get to know these. But you just booked a holiday and was like, what the fuck, I'll just go on the tour and see some nice things. And then you got these strangers from the other side of the country where you're from, trying to be your best friends. And then the most pathetic people, they actually become friends with other people on these tours and maintain these things. And yeah, even though the traveling was nice and you had a nice vacation, half the time you come back more exhausted than you would have been if you had just stayed at home. And then you're like way too tired from work, and then then there's like the saying, right? I need a vacation from the vacation. Man, it's ridiculous. Like, how stupid is it that people go someplace to relax and to experience new things, and then they come back more tired than they were before? You can't just relax from your travels and be like, okay, that was an exhausting flight. Let me just lay down for a moment. No, then you have no more clean clothes, and you have to take care of that first. And yeah, normally, right, you're at home, living your life, and you've got all your stuff in your wardrobe. But when you go traveling, you gotta pack this huge suitcase of things that weighs way too fucking much. you're like way after like an 8-hour flight, you don't even have the energy to push this fucking thing around the area. Have you ever seen like these tiny women that struggle with like these massive heavy suitcases? It's fucking hilarious. You see someone this tall, and then they have a suitcase that goes up to here, and it weighs like just as much as they do. And it's hilarious, man. You know what I don't like about traveling? It's like when one of your friends goes somewhere for like 2 weeks and then he comes back, and then he's like an expert on the place. Oh really, Tim? After your 2 weeks in Malaysia, all of a sudden you tell me you know everything there is to know about the country and I don't know jack shit? Oh. You know, I could have just Googled some pictures and looked up some forums online, and I would have just as much knowledge as you would. And the worst people of that kind are the ones that go to like some really poor country and then they come back and they all of a sudden have this new outlook on life and everything has changed. Oh really, your outlook has changed, yeah. Like you're not gonna go back to being your old shitty, ungrateful self after 1 week of living in the West. And I feel like a lot of people go traveling just so they can tell other people about it. And then you'd always hear these sentences like, oh, when I was in England, or when I was in there, when I was living there, when I was here, when I was that. Yeah, fuck that, okay? You're here. You're not there anymore. You're here. So live here as well. And not with your fucking, yeah. So, if you ever were on vacation and you thought it was fucking amazing, just remember that there were plenty of problems with it. And that's me.